everybody, and welcome to Get Personal with Pattie. As you all know, usually I come on and do a lot of talk about budgeting and, finances, but today I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Kyle Bueno. Did I say that right?
You did say that right. Very impressed.
Is that Portuguese?
Wow, that is Portuguese.
Okay,
and a hint of Brazilian too in there as well. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So, Mr. Kyle Bueno, I have known Kyle now for a few years from our small community here in Fairhaven, and we met in the Rotary.
That's correct.
I'm president of the Rotary Club,
and
you came and did a presentation.
Time has flown. Wow, yeah,
it's been a couple of years, right?
Yeah,
So it's been a couple of years.
Grown a lot.
And I've learned a lot from Kyle in the last few years. I love that he's involved in politics, and I did not check this out, but I believe that he is one of the youngest elected officials in our small community.
I hope so.
If not the youngest that's ever ran an election and, gotten on as a position.
Right.
He's actually on the school committee. Now, this is your second term?
First term.
First
feels
full
like
term.
eons.
I know. I'm sure it does. That's politics.
What I mean.
That's politics for you.
Yes.
Okay, so your first full term, but you're in a 3-year elected position?
3-year elected position, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So I have high hopes, very high hopes for Kyle to be, I think he's just getting his feet wet with the school committee, which, this is not a political show at all, but I think he's always been a go-getter, and it's very exciting that he's this young, involved in politics and school committee already. But
I appreciate that. That's very nice.
Well, hey, I'm going to be his campaign
Free
manager.
compliments. There we go.
Campaign manager 3 years.
Yeah. Foreshadowing for what's to come.
Right, absolutely. Well, when you start young like this, and I'm sure, we don't talk ages in this group here.
I only hang out with the young people, so that's why I'm here.
Right.
Yeah. See?
And our beautiful videographers, they're in their younger ages as well. But so Kyle is early 20s,
25.
Okay, so 25. So maybe we'll bring him on next month and ask him how his finances are.
Oh boy. That's a little
Stuff going out.
Iffy subject. That's a little touchy.
Stuff going out. So we're here to talk to Kyle because Kyle is an open 25-year-old gay man and proud of it. Mm-hmm. And we're here to talk about pride. And what intrigued me about this topic with Kyle specifically is he was on a recent meeting in our local community, asking them to be able to flag the pride flag, which he's going to talk about and show us. And I watched some of the video and I was intrigued by the numbers. Yeah. So if you can kind of share that with us as well.
Yeah.
I think people would be, I was certainly taken aback by some of the numbers, and so that's what we're talking about today. So Kyle, please tell us a little bit about you perhaps first, and then, your involvement with Pride and, anything. We're an open book here, and I appreciate you coming on. This is, sometimes it can be a tough topic to talk about.
Absolutely.
So, we want to give you the respect that you want, and I don't want to step on anybody's feelings. Please let me know if I'm swaying off the deep end a little bit. But please.
Well, first, I just want to say to you, my friend, thank you for inviting me on. I see all your Facebook posts about your shows and just the engagement and people having conversations about budgeting. Now, I definitely need to learn a lot more about budgeting because, especially 25, I have my fun with friends and family, so I appreciate what you're doing and the advocacy that you're raising for financial and education.
Awareness, exactly.
That's another very important topic.
Because I'm 50, so I'm double your age, and if
boy.
I'm just starting it, I'm actually 51, but don't tell anybody. But
only people that are watching.
Right, exactly. My 368 views.
That's still really good. That's impressive.
Yeah. Right? Every once in a while.
It's very good. So when Pattie mentioned that she wanted me be here to talk about Pride and just the numbers that I was sharing and the semblance of the flag, I definitely was very interested in being part of here. But before we talk about all that information, a little bit about myself. So I'm half Portuguese, half Brazilian. My mom is from St. Michael, Azores, and my dad is from Brazil. So in terms of that background, very interesting. I mean, I kind of do everything based off my parents. My parents, like I'm sure many of you watching, you know, and people that live here, blue collar, you know, they have to work not just a 9 to 5, but it could be
For everything
like,
they have.
you know, for 24 hours in, you know, like doing a lot of, not the typical 9 to 5 household. And so for me, I've always been curious, and I've been like, well, why do things have to be this way? Like, why is it when my parents work so hard, you know, they still struggle to pay the bills. They still struggle to provide more, I guess, financial freedom to do more things. And so for me, I always found government to be that source to help people. And I've often find for myself, like that has been my passion through and through because of my parents and because of the sacrifices that they've made for me, coming from a different country, learning a new language, meeting new people. And so for me, I'm like, well, if they've come here to this country, I should take as much opportunities as I can. So for me, that's always been my rock is my parents. And the reason why I love politics and meeting new people from across various backgrounds, because I'm very blessed to have a cross-sectionality of just so many people from diverse cultures and experiences. It's just because I've always been intrigued by that and just very curious. So that's a little bit about me in terms of my background. Living in Fairhaven, I've been to the public schools here, East Fairhaven, Rogers School, Hastings, and Fairhaven High. And then I went to Bridgewater State University for my bachelor's in economics with minors in political science and Portuguese. Wow. And I actually just graduated from
Congratulations.
My master's.
Oh my gosh, great.
Yeah, it's like now I'm so glad that it's finally over. I can try to enjoy myself
That's wonderful.
as much as I can. So I graduated with my public administration degree, and I'm still kind of figuring out what next steps are. But, you know, I know that the universe will kind of align and will treat me hopefully very well and trying to see what the
You're
next
off to a
steps
good
are.
start.
Well, I appreciate that.
And you're a very smart young man.
Well,
we're glad to have you in Fairhaven.
Well, I appreciate that. That very much means a lot to me. It really does.
I mean
Especially in politics.
I mean
Sometimes it could be very challenging.
Right.
But it's people like you, honestly, and so many people in this community that have been so supportive and keep pushing me to
Absolutely.
Like, Kyle, we have your back. We have your back for what you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job. And for me, it's those little things like that allow me to keep on going.
Great.
You know? So, in terms of politics, obviously, as you know, as a gay man, like I'm very passionate about Pride, and I think because Pride Month is literally about life. It's about people having respect and dignity for everyone.
And Pride Month is June.
And Pride Month is June.
Do you know
That's
how
correct.
that started? Do you know, or when it started?
Yes.
Okay.
So I know. I mean, a little brief history.
Okay.
On it. So it involves Stonewall. So a transgender activist named Marsha Johnson. I know I may be butchering that name.
That's okay.
But she was an activist that actually led. So Stonewall was a local bar in New York City where a lot of LGBT individuals would go. And so just for support and just, you know, to have that sense of community, because especially back then during, you know, the 80s and
Right.
the 50s and the 80s, like it was really tough for LGBT individuals to be themselves and to be fully open, because especially in those times, if one person knew, you would be outed, and then it was just situations would unfold that would not be pretty for them.
Right.
So essentially, this place Stonewall was a place for safety and security for LGBT individuals. And so I believe in the past, and I could be wrong with this information, so don't quote me on this, but I believe there was involving like police riots that would come into Stonewall, and essentially they would mess up the situation, essentially like beating up LGBT individuals in the past, and it caused obviously a lot of trauma for people in the community. And so essentially, because of Marsha and her willingness to be out there and to be a huge advocate for all of us, she essentially ignited a movement. And that's why Pride is in June, because of Stonewall, when that situation happened. And so every year, June signifies Pride Month. And recently, Governor Baker and President Joe Biden, they officially made proclamations, which is about time, to recognize Pride Month in June.
Okay.
And so essentially, and it's not even just for LGBT individuals, allies as well. There have been so many allies that have assisted in pushing for full rights for LGBT individuals. And so essentially this flag that I have here, it symbolizes not just LGBT individuals, but allies as well, that are so inclusive, that are willing to be in this fight to make sure that everyone has respect and dignity.
Right.
No matter who you are, no matter who you love, where you come from, everyone deserves that sanctity to just be and to just live in the moment and be happy with
Just
who they
be
are.
kind.
Just
Stay
be kind.
kind.
Which is
Stay
actually
kind.
why I wore this shirt today.
Absolutely.
I was thinking of like, should I wear a polo? Like, what should I do today? Should I
We're
dress
casual
up?
here.
But I know my friend Patty here. She's very casual.
We're very casual
so
here.
I said, you know what? This shirt,
Right. Well, that's
It's
what it's
actually
about.
very nice for
I
today.
mean, wouldn't that be nice if people would just
be kind. I mean, that's literally like my premise of everything is like, you know, I think if people actually had conversations with one another, not through social media, like in person.
or texting.
Or text, exactly. Or
Because
even texting,
even the social media, in my opinion, and the texting, I mean, you know,
Oh my God.
it gets way, way out of hand.
Oh.
Like people like take things wrong, and
Yeah.
and it's like you're responding to something that it's almost like you're reading into what someone's saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
It's terrible. Well, I mean, I will say this. I think social media has its purpose in terms of interconnectedness
Absolutely.
with everyone. Around, like I have friends that live in Cambodia. I have family in Brazil.
Right.
So
Nice
I'm
to keep
grateful
up.
that I can keep up and have conversations with them. That being said, sometimes there's some people that just like to bait and constantly like just post negative information and just negative comments on other people. And it's like, I guarantee you 99% of people that comment that negativity would not say in front of someone's face.
No, of course not.
No, and
Right.
it's just like, if people were kind and had conversations face to face, being like, hey, how are you today? How's your day going?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about your background
Right.
and where you're from. I think then we can build bridges instead of tearing them down.
Right.
And that's why, like when I presented this flag to select board, even though unfortunately they didn't pass it, Selectman Espandola, who I'm very thankful for and honestly consider him a friend, was the chief advocate and agreeing that this flag should be flown. While it is June, it's in August of this year
Right.
to have it for the month, but we'll just have to keep fighting, and next year do the same thing.
Right, and I think from what I've read, personally, what I've read on social media is that I believe that some people might have thought that you were asking to flag it, to fly it on the flagpole where the United States of America flag on,
Correct.
and that is not true.
Not true.
That's not true.
Not true.
Let's tell social media
Yes,
that
not
is not
true.
true. So
is
you
not
weren't
true.
asking to
Yes.
put it on the flagpole of Town Hall.
Correct. Yes.
Right. You were asking to flag it over the entryway of Town Hall.
Correct. So
Okay.
as soon as you walk into Town Hall in the front,
And that's where it's flown in the past.
in the past. And I've actually accepted that. And I was like, as long as we have it so people can see it, especially in town government, where government...
We're open. We should be open.
Yes, and that's what I
to
believe.
everyone.
Yes, and that's how I think you and I agree. Like,
Right.
government as an institution should be for everyone.
Right.
It represents every single person, no matter if it's one LGBT individual or none.
Well, that's where diversity comes in, too.
Yes.
I mean,
and
that's...
diversity is so powerful.
And that,
It's
you know...
amazing.
I
Diversity
mean,
is like such a beautiful thing that, again, it's those conversations.
Again, be grateful for that.
Yes.
Be thankful for that. Be
Yes.
positive.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
we hear negative after negative after negative, and I think when that happens, it's just, It's really tiring, actually. It's very exhausting. So, you know.
I would say, especially with COVID, all things COVID and with social media, it's exhausting. I even had to take some time off social media because
I'm sure.
I was like, this is way, way too much. And it's the same information every single day. And it's like, now that summer's out, I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to
have fun.
Enjoy myself and have some fun,
I mean, I'm a heterosexual woman.
Yeah.
I'm married and in a relationship, and not always been, but, I'm married. And
Right.
I'm not always been. It feels like forever. Didn't we just talk about that a few minutes ago?
Right.
And I can't say I know how it feels.
Right.
And that's one thing that I learned many years ago in a very actually freak accident, though. It was a very freak accident. But someone said to me in a moment of the accident, said, you are going to come across people in the next week, maybe the next month, maybe the next 2 months that's going to say to you, I know how you feel. That happened to me. And that person is stuck in my ear and said, they don't know how you feel because they're not in your shoes. That they might have experienced perhaps the same experience, but they weren't in your shoes.
Yes.
So I don't know what it feels like to, wake up and say, I'm a gay lady, a gay woman, and I don't know what that feels like.
Right.
So, I would like to ask you, I'm a Portuguese.
Oh,
Portuguese. I'm married to Italian, but I'm Portuguese. And, my parents, and there's obviously a generation gap between us, but my father was from St. Michael, and my mother was born here, but her father, Portuguese, St. Michael as well. So I know how my father felt about, different people than him. So, I bring up the Portuguese, but so your parents are just, they just, I've seen pictures of them.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never met your parents.
They are like the talk of the town, first and foremost. Let me tell you, like everyone's
but they're very open.
You have the cutest parents.
Yes.
And I mean, like I said, I literally appreciate my parents so much for everything that they've done. And I would say, when I came out, I'm going to be honest, they had a little shock. And, I think it took some time for them to understand. And I think for those that are out there, to try to create that space of, and if your parent, I would say this, if even extending it, if your parents say something that, to you may not be well received, time heals all. And that's something that I've learned in politics, is that time heals all. And I think your parents want to have a relationship. If they really do love you, they will be with you and support you 110%. And I think that is how my parents were, where, it wasn't easy in the beginning. I'll be completely honest here. They had the culture shock, especially my mom being Portuguese, my dad Brazilian. It's like you go to church every Sunday. You read the Gospels and you kind of just follow, what is prescribed.
What they learned from their
and what
parents.
they learned from their parents. That's their reality,
Mm-hmm.
And I think, again, just having those simple conversations and realizing hey, I am still a person of God. I am his child, and I am someone that is proud to be who I am. And again, some days obviously are tough. Especially with pride flags. If what ensued. It's hard to be respectful and to kind of holding it in. But again, it's if I can educate one person, then that makes a huge difference. And my parents, now they've, oh my God, they love me. They love me.
They always loved you.
And they always loved me.
And they always loved
you.
They it was culture shock to them because that's not how they grew up and that's not what they knew.
And I think their reality for me, and I have an older brother as well, was you're going to go to college, you're going to have kids, you're going to, and I can still have kids.
Oh, of course you can.
But I think it was they envisioned this perfect household of
with the white picket fence, 2.5 kids and a dog.
Yeah, that's
not reality.
And it's that's not reality for a lot of people.
That's not reality for a lot of people.
Yeah, not
never
a lot
mind.
of people. And I will say this, I'm very privileged to still have my parents in my life.
Absolutely.
But I know that there are other kids out there, once they admit that, like, they come out, you know, the parents don't want anything to do with them. And so the statistics that I shared with the select board members is really alarming. You know, like some LGBT individuals still get bullied. They have suicide ideation, like commit suicide just because they aren't accepted. If that one person says to them, hey, you matter, I value you and I love you so much, I don't care who you love, where you come from, that literally, those statistics change dramatically. Dramatically for these individuals. And so to those that are out there that are watching this, you know, like just being an ally, just like, you know, just saying, hey, how's it going? Like just having conversations like this really do matter.
Absolutely.
You don't have to wear like a rainbow, you know, like a rainbow.
You don't
like,
have to dye your hair rainbow.
Yeah, you don't have to dye your hair rainbow at all. It's just you showing up and be like, hey, I'm an ally for you. I care about you. Because your life matters.
I appreciate you as a person.
That's what I mean. That's it. Just as a person.
I mean, when you go up to somebody,
stay kind.
When you go up to somebody, you don't say, you know, hey, oh hi, are you a gay man? Or, hey, are you a gay woman? I mean, that's not how we talk in everyday
life.
life.
My name is Kyle.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. That's it. Exactly.
Done.
That's it.
You know, and then
that's all you have
if there's
to do.
a connection there. And then you build on that. Certainly. I mean, I agree. I don't know how it feels, and I'm not going to sit here and say I know how it feels because I don't. Of course not. You know, but
you have your own reality as well, and I will never understand your reality that you've been through. You know, I think all of us are brought to this world for a purpose, which is ultimately to make a difference, a positive difference in people, no matter who you are. And I think that's why for me, like, I grew up with the Congregational Church, like right across the street, and I love my Reverend.
Christian.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a Christian like Protestant.
Is it Protestant Christian?
Yeah, it's like
denomination?
Protestant Christian denomination. Okay. And my Reverend Betty McClure, who I love.
Yes,
I absolutely like. If you're watching this, Betty, you're a rock star.
You're the bomb.
She literally is the bomb, and her and I just have like amazing conversations, like around spirituality, which I think like I'm exploring more like with Buddhism and just like different sectionalities. Yeah. And the one thing I find with all of them is like the golden rule is to respect others as you would want to be respected. And I think a lot of people misconstrue that because they look at just the text and they're like, well, it says this, so we can't do that. And it's like, well, no, like, you know, you have to take everything within context. The time period, where we are now, you know, and how much humans have evolved over time. So I think, you know, having conversations like this and just showing your awareness and being open to education. You don't have to agree with everything, but just being open to other people's thoughts and perspectives makes a difference.
Right. Just don't listen to people, hear them.
Yes, hear them.
You know?
Be in the moment and authentically hear what people are saying. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, we could go on.
Oh my God, for hours. You're going to have to come
on once a month and talk about something.
Well, I mean, in terms of philosophy, I have this conversation with so many people, and you know, I love it because I think, it just opens doors to hear other people's journeys, hear other people's perspectives. And especially like the intersectionality, like me as a gay man, you know, you as a heterosexual woman, but like even within that level, we have our own. We even have more of our journeys to delve into and talk. Absolutely. If we create a space and respect people to talk about it, you know what I mean? Like me, like I think I'm pretty open. I'm an open book, and I try to share as much as I can, but I also respect people that don't want to share. And ultimately, like, you know, that's their right if they don't want to.
Absolutely.
And I often, you know, and I think, especially within like the different minority groups, sometimes people are like, oh, well, you should speak because you're a representative of that group. And it's like, well, like, you shouldn't have to force
someone to speak because
you know, like sometimes, even for me, sometimes it could be exhausting because it's like, why do I have to constantly be the one that exactly. But I know that there are other people, especially in this community, that appreciate, going back to the pride flag, that appreciate the advocacy of pushing the conversation forward and being one united community to say, hey, we are Fairhaven, we deserve the best representation that we can have.
Can you just give us a little, a quick synopsis of what the colors represent on the flag?
Yes. So I wish I had my notes.
Oh,
but
boy. You should know this.
There's
off the top of
Patty
your head.
side-eye. Yeah. Patty side-eye. But, I think I'll just say overall.
Absolutely.
I think overall, each stripe, thank you very much, my friend.
Please.
Each stripe,
I'm
me.
happy to hold the other side of
See,
the
look at
flag.
that. See, now this is what I
am
call.
open to it.
This is what I call love right here.
Right.
This is what
This is it.
But essentially, I think each stripe has its own meaning, and if you want to, those that are watching,
we'll definitely put it at the end of the.
at the end, I'll
at the
send
end of the
links.
video,
and I'll share it with our amazing videographers.
Yes,
behind
absolutely,
us.
yes.
But essentially, I think overall meaning of this again is about love. It's about community. It's about connection. That showing this flag, it doesn't just represent LGBT individuals. While predominantly it does, because again, it's our community. It's showing that you matter, your life matters. But it's also for allies as well, to show that, hey, even though I may not be an LGBT individual, as an ally, I stand for this, because maybe you have friends, like
Yes.
me and other
Right.
people that we know, mutual friends, but also family members as well that are part of this community. And when they see this flag, they're I'll be completely honest. When I pass by Millicent Library, even my real estate firm, Howell Allen Realty,
Right.
I smile, because
Right.
it's like, wow, like my town is showing this with pride, and they're recognizing the struggles
Keyword.
that the community has had, but we are making
Pushing forward.
pushing forward from that, exactly. So essentially, like, this flag really just symbolizes, excuse me, love and hope and community. And I think if we can get back to square one of that, especially after this pandemic, I think it would really make a huge difference in so many lives.
Right.
So many lives.
I agree. And you would have thought, I'm not getting on a tangent, I'm just saying, that you would have thought that the pandemic would make people more humble.
Oh my God.
And I think it's almost.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Real quick. I mean,
Yeah.
the pandemic, I was fortunate to have worked through the whole pandemic.
Right. Me too.
With my job.
Absolutely.
And, everyone knows I have a child at home.
Yep.
And,
Who I love very much and messages me on Facebook. I'm a part of that fan club.
Yep. She loves the phone, so
Yep.
it's not just my studio videographers that she texts all day long, but she also, finds Kyle. She sends pictures now.
Oh, the cutest things. I love it.
She sent herself a selfie to you the other day.
Yes, she did.
said, "Oh, for
and I
God's
was like,
sakes."
oh my God, Gracie's so popular. Miss
She's
President
so funny.
over there.
I know, she's so funny. But so she was home during the pandemic for right in the beginning for a long time, and getting people to watch her child care was really tough in our house.
yeah.
And but I don't know. I wish the pandemic would have made people a little bit more humble of the situation.
And I think, I would
People
say,
are mean and weird.
well, and that's the thing. Like, I
Weird.
often found it, I think it's honestly because of stress.
Yeah, I do too.
And,
Okay.
but that shouldn't be an excuse.
That's not an
though.
excuse, though.
Because with me,
Right.
obviously, I think everyone got stressed from the pandemic. I absolutely did.
Right.
You and I are social butterflies.
Right.
And so, when all the social
Stopped.
atmosphere type of places would close,
Right.
I'm really like, oh my God. And I love going to the gym. Like, for me, that is where, for me, I have my space. I do what I need to do. And I know the gym isn't for everyone, but for me, I find solace in that. So when Governor Baker announced that the gyms were closing, I was like, oh my God.
Now what am I going to do?
What am I going to do?
Right, because you enjoyed that.
I mean,
right.
and also I eat like a cow, so I'm gonna.
You can really tell.
Yeah. Well, fortunately because of the gym, thank God.
You can eat like a cow.
I can.
Good for you.
Which is
Wow.
awesome.
That'll be next month.
That'll
We'll
be
have to talk about. This is the second
Look,
video in a row.
see,
The second show in a
A
row.
lot of connections over
This
here.
is the second show in a row that we've said we're going to talk about dieting and getting healthy
Oh my
in the
God.
next month.
Well, you let me know.
So
for that.
round table. You're on.
All right, there we go. Done deal. See, done deal. But I think if people just like be authentic and open their ears and just listen, because I think there was a quote, and I'm gonna butcher this one, but it's like not everyone's in the same boat but the same storm or something like that.
Yep.
And I think for me, I think this pandemic has really taught me the value of just being present, the value of being authentic, the value of compassion. And I think that's needed way more in our society and community, to be quite frank.
Absolutely.
Than anything. Because right now, like, I will say this, I honestly think like we are more connected than what social media shows us. Because when you talk to people like this, I even talk to people in town that may disagree with me on everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And to be honest, even probably with this, but I will always have a conversation with them because maybe there's something that I can learn from, or maybe I can educate them on why I'm standing for
the
this.
problem is that, and I agree with you, that conversation, communication is important. The problem is that sometimes people don't even want to approach that conversation. Or, you know, if something's going on, they don't want to. It's okay for them to say, I mean, you know, we're adults here.
Yes.
You know, 25, 26, 23, 50, we're all adults.
Yes. Well, you know why?
So let's,
in my opinion, I think that's because we've been taught, and I'm not blaming my parents for this.
No, absolutely not.
But we were taught to not have uncomfortable conversations around
anything.
The big
Sex,
pillars.
Religion, money.
That's exactly it.
All right, so we've talked about a great church for the LGBTQ.
Yes. Which they are amazing. And I know there's Unitarian church that's amazing.
So there's definitely options out there.
Yes, there is.
You know, and if you watch this show and say, well, I could never sit up there with her and talk, or I could never talk to him, you know, privately, but you know, start going to a church. You know, I'm sure Betty.
Oh, Betty McClure will assist you.
Certainly.
Yeah. She
you know,
she does, and I mean, I could say for her because I talked to her, but I know there are other pastors and reverends that are very accepting, very inclusive. Like mine specifically, we even talk about spirituality subjects.
And we have an email. I have an email that we'll put up at the end of the show that you can certainly reach out to me, and I can forward to you, Kyle, if anybody wants to talk, or you know, just to have some resources and where to go. I'm pretty sure, but now that the Council on Aging is opening up again, I'm pretty sure that I don't know much about it, but I know that they have an LGBTQ.
They do. Yes, LGBTQ plus.
Thank you.
Yes, that's okay.
Group.
Yeah.
And that get together and do dinners, you know, once a month or something. So
you're actually gonna laugh when I presented this flag the first time, Anne invited me to the group to show my face, show who I am, the effort that I did to lead this, and again, those conversations were just amazing. Like I was just like, you know, my name's Kyle, I'm here, and I received a lot of like great feedback, like thank you so much. You know, I never thought I would see this day come to fruition, and just again, casual conversations of like, so what's your family like?
Right.
And I think. And that's the important part. It's like what you just said earlier was perfect. Like, oh, my name's Kyle. I'm a gay man. Like, no, it's like, hi, my name's Kyle.
Of course. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, which you said it. You hit the nail on the head. It's,
you're not getting together and meeting people.
Yes.
You're not gonna go to this group once a month and go to I'm not gonna go to a chess club meeting and go in and say, oh, I'm the best chess pool player there is. I'm gonna, I mean,
with Gracie.
You're not gonna do that. You're going to something that interests you.
Yes.
And that you feel a part of.
Yes, you feel a part of. And this pandemic we need that.
We need that back.
More than ever.
We need that back.
Inclusion and just like feeling a part of something bigger.
Right.
Which is such a huge thing.
Exactly. Everybody wants to feel loved.
Oh my God. Well, especially after this pandemic.
Everybody wants that.
Like, please. Who doesn't want that?
Right. Who doesn't want that? You just want to, hey, how about, hey, thanks, nice job.
That's
a conversation can start with, hey, nice job.
Especially now. Especially now. Yeah.
That's all we want.
Absolutely. That's
great job.
I think that's what everyone wants. Well, because people, and again, like, I think it's because people I think our brains are just wired.
Focus on negativity sometimes.
Yes, and it's like, no, like,
oh my gosh,
kill people with kindness. Be positive. Just.
I try
grateful.
to be positive with all my
Be grateful. Oh,
social
I know
media.
you are. And I
Every
love your
once
posts.
in a while, though, I get on a little. I try not to.
I love your
but
posts. Well, me too.
I try to get.
Sometimes
If I feel that way,
Oh, yeah.
though, I'll go and sit at the Fairhaven New Bedford Bridge because when it opens, because that's a good 15 minutes.
That's actually
That's
funny.
what I do.
When it opens. That's
Yes,
the key
because
word.
when it opens, because then you have to wait 15 minutes
Yeah,
to get over it.
that's it.
Why would you want to turn around? By the time you turn around and go the other way, there is another way. The 15
I
minutes,
actually did
I
that
just
today.
sit there. I just sit there, I shut off my car, and I enjoy the
See,
moment.
it's actually funny. I actually did that today. Well, because
have
of
to.
work. I didn't want to be late for work. So the bridge was closed.
You turned around.
So I turned around.
That's
I was one of those
impatient.
people, but I know. Pattie's shutting me already. She's like, I don't want to deal with you anymore. No, I'm
Right,
kidding.
no, it's just, yeah.
No, but I think that's, and especially, going
Patience.
back to that pandemic.
I don't have
like,
patience.
That's, well, listen, sometimes but it depends.
It depends on the situation.
Depends on the situation, but I think my golden rule, and again, I learned this with politics, is a 24-hour rule. I think.
Don't answer for 24 hours.
Yes, because sometimes if you just immediately respond, you're going to regret what you said.
Right.
So
true.
you need time to think about it. I think another saying goes is like, other people's emergencies isn't mine.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I hold to be, honestly, I mean, I would weigh it like what's
Right,
emergency,
right,
what's
right,
not.
right,
but,
right.
I just think that if we just get back, and I know we're all over the place, but
Yeah, I know, we are.
But it goes,
We are all
but I
over
think
the
it
place.
just goes,
But
it does go back
It
to
gets
this.
back to just being kind.
Yes, and I think that's the whole conversation today is like
Absolutely.
just being kind and compassionate and like being open to have conversations with other people. Like I'll say this for me, like, I have friends from Cambodia. I have people that are Catholics, which not saying all Catholics are, like with the LGBT movement, but there's some that, like to further educate and have conversations with. Like I have friends in that section. I have Protestant friends. I have Buddhist friends. I have people that are Republicans. I have people that are Democrats.
Right.
People that are socialists. You know what I mean? Like the whole political spectrum. But it's because I tend to put myself in those situations where I've learned a lot. I may not agree with some of these people that I call friends and I talk to, but again, it's being open and categorizing like, okay, like, I see what he's, this individual is talking about, but
I might not agree with
respectfully
it,
may
but I
not agree.
respect. Right.
But, and I think that's
Right.
where we need to get back to is, again, it's about respect, dignity, and tolerance and inclusion
Right.
for everyone, every
Right.
single human being.
Right.
See, so it all
It
comes back.
all circles
That's-
around. The circle of life.
That's
And
right.
The circle of life. Kyle, it's been a pleasure having you on here. We
Yes.
could talk for hours.
Oh
but,
my God! Clearly, we
you
just
know,
like
next time I'm going to have you on.
we haven't gotten the layer of it.
I'm going to
Yeah.
I know. I'm going to have you on to talk about 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that.
Because we watched that together too.
That's-
Separate houses, but on
Oh my
Facebook,
God.
you
You tag me, message me,
Yeah.
but then we have a following. We
Yeah,
have a following of
exactly.
people that also
That-
comment.
exactly.
And
They
they're like,
comment,
you
they
watch
go-
90 Day Fiancé?
They're like,
I'm
oh my
like,
God.
absolutely, we watch it.
Of course we do.
We're hip. That's why.
and Ed, what's his name? Ed and
Oh my God!
you gotta watch it.
Yeah,
90
just
Day
watch.
Fiancé.
It's on TLC.
TLC.
Just watch it.
Channel
Grab some
38,
popcorn.
exactly.
It's awesome. Yes.
Right, and that
it's so good.
that'll bring you back to hey, it's about life is about funniness. You gotta have some fun.
Oh,
But-
you need to have fun. You can't be serious
Absolutely.
all the time.
No.
No, if people listen, life is
And you
a
can't
journey,
take people
and you have to
seriously.
laugh. No, you can't. I learned, especially in politics, I've learned that. I can
Right.
go on and on. But honestly, Pattie, I'm so honored to be your friend.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
I remember, the Rotary Club, Pattie reached out to me when I was running, and she's like, I think myself and the members would love to meet you. And I was like, absolutely. I'm trying to,
Right.
put myself out there more. Any opportunity for that, I would love to. So when Pattie reached out to me, I was like, yeah, sure. So I met Pattie, and I had my suit on. I was dressed. What do you think? I was dressed pretty sharp, wasn't I?
Yes, very
Dressed
sharp.
pretty sharp.
Very sharp, very sharp. For a
And
young man,
For a young man. Well, because I don't want to, it's again,
yes,
it's
right,
respect.
exactly.
It's respect. And so, Pattie and everyone answered really great questions. And honestly, after that conversation, I was like, I'm so glad we're friends.
Yeah.
Because you're real, you're honest, and you get it. And I think a lot of people, I think people always blame generations for one thing or the other, but what I am truly blessed for is to have people from other generations in my life that can teach me and to provide wisdom and guidance for me to continue growing. And you're one of them.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you
thanks.
have your own journey too.
Absolutely.
And I look
We
to
all
that
do,
as
right?
guidance.
We all do.
And we all do. And I look to that as guidance and optimism for me to realize that like life is a journey. And I think if all of us just get back to the simple premise of respect, dignity, tolerance, and openness, and just compassion, I think we'll be awesome.
Absolutely.
You just need to get back to that.
If nothing else, just be kind. If nothing else.
Just be kind.
Stay kind. Be kind and stay kind.
Which, by the way, shameless plug, if anyone is interested in these shirts, there's a website, it's staykind.com or something like that.
Jeez.
So advertisements, I'll leave it with this. Social media with the advertisements, they get me every time because this shirt has been coming on my feed like 2 or 3 times a day. And I'm like, at first glance, I'm like, nah, that's good. I don't need that. Then the second time, I'm like, okay, they're getting to me because what I post. And then the third time, I'm like, I have to get this shirt.
Now you bought it.
And I bought it. I think
How
it
much
was
is
like,
the shirt?
I think
$9.99?
It's a little up there. I think it's like 19, 15.
I think we
talk
can
about budgeting.
I think we can make our own shirts.
That's
that say
well, but
be kind.
But I will say 20% of it goes to mental health causes.
Okay.
So, I weighed the pros and cons,
Right.
and I said, well, that's an issue I'm very passionate about. So I'm gonna have to get it.
I'm gonna get
Very
Kyle
good.
on the budget by paycheck method.
Oh, I need that because I'm terrible.
Oh.
I'm actually really bad with it. So
Okay.
my mom tells me all the time, she's like, I need to teach you how to budget.
Yeah.
So maybe now that you're gonna offer,
Absolutely.
Next time you let me know.
I would love to show what I do in my method to the younger generation because I have some friends who are in there, my goddaughter who's out there.
Yeah.
You know who you are. Who's 25.
Shameless plug.
and she's always saying, she wants to, she wants to go on trips and with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
But she always says she has no money. Well, you work.
Same.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, envelopes.
That's what I need.
That.
We'll talk about that
We'll talk about
next time.
that another time.
Yeah.
But thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you all.
And
I
we're gonna
appreciate this.
put some links at the end of the video for if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to get in touch with Kyle or myself, or just some resources in Fairhaven for you to be able to speak to somebody or.
Even me.
I don't know.
Or
just
us.
or even us.
Yeah.
If you want to,
Facebook.
Hey,
Facebook ad.
We're around.
We love it.
Yep. Thanks, Kyle, again.
Thank you, Patty. You're a rock star. And thank you to the 2 videographers in the back over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome stuff.
Can't do it without them.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.